Hi, welcome to Are We the Only Ones? I'm Kathy. Today, I want to talk about Donald Trump doing an about face and saying that he would love for the files to be released. He would like them to be released and he wants them to be released in their entirety, which tells me that he has successfully had the FBI scrub them completely because there's no other logical explanation for that. Now, Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, has basically said the same thing. He was interviewed and he said that he has it on good authority from somebody in, I'm going to assume inside the FBI. He just said it was on somebody that was a very trusted source, said that they had scrubbed Donald Trump's name from the files and every important Republican. And that's why they wanted um, investigations on the Democrats and why they were willing to say, go ahead and release the files. It's pretty obvious that that's what happened, but sometimes it just needs to be stated. Tell me what you think. Do you think that he scrubbed him? Do you think that that matters because there's going to be another set of files on the other end from the Epstein estate? Or do you think he's going to somehow pull another Teflon Don and get out of this somehow? Look, I actually have personal experience with a con man before, and in the end, he basically got away with it. So I've seen it happen before where somebody who has a lot of evidence, multiple victims, multiple police files, still gets away. So that's a person who doesn't have as much political power, money, network. I hope that with all the different things that go on in this particular Trump administration, there's so many crimes being committed in real time. Something will stick. I originally thought it was going to be something with the IRS. I thought it was going to be like a tax situation. You know, like Al Capone, all the previous gangsters have always gotten held to account by the IRS. But then he basically, defunded the IRS. So, as much as Donald Trump is a stupid man, he's also very gifted in understanding how to protect himself. And they're having questions about whether or not he would pardon himself. The I think originally when people started theoretically saying like he could potentially do that, the idea would be like it was way too risky. There'd be too much blowback. There'd be no way he would get away with it. But that was before he actually started partying all kinds of people that are way, I don't want to say worse, but they're crimes that he's pardoned that are pretty substantial. There's some there's a guy that he pardoned that was the one that went after Michael Fanone. He's the Capitol Police officer that got stunned in the neck. That guy was supposed to get 12 years, and then Donald Trump pardoned him. So to me, that's laying the groundwork for himself to pardon himself. Or potentially, I have seen theories that, a JD Vance might ascend to the presidency if Donald Trump resigns and then JD Vance ascends and then pardons Donald Trump immediately is another scenario that is technically legally possible. But I don't know if that's something that, the Republicans now have decided that this is the line that they won't cross. There was a vote that happened about, I want to say an hour and a half ago. 472 to 1. The one lone Republican from Louisiana. Basically, I'm going to say everybody in Louisiana should be asking for his computers to be checked. Because why would you go on record saying that you don't as a nay vote for the Epstein transparency bill? It's quite telling. And then now that the vote has gone through, we're going to see what's going to unravel. We're going to see, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been getting attacked by Donald Trump. He calls her Marjorie Trader Green. While he was on Air Force One and he was getting questioned by a female reporter about the Epstein files, he told her to be quiet and he called her Miss Piggy. Uh, Now, the good thing is that is actually, there's a lot of uproar about him calling her Miss Piggy, which is much different than the lack of uproar that there was for him saying to Billy Bush, when you're a star, you can do anything. You can even grab him by the meow meow, right? So, have we evolved as a society that this is finally the line? I mean, I guess so, right? We got the vote we needed. Hopefully, there'll be a second set of documents that are not redacted that'll be released that we'll be able to see in case these particular documents are redacted beyond, where it's obvious that, there's a cover up. But there's a lot of stuff that's already come out that it's going to be really hard for him to kind of get around. Even down to the fact that Donald Trump accidentally posted on his, I think his Truth Social account, he actually posted the prompt that he gave to ChatGPT that was basically like, I did not suck Bill Clinton's, you know what? And it was the ChatGPT prompt was, uh, would you like us to say, it was like this, like, would you like it to be said with more like, it was some kind of like expressive term. It was like more aggressive, but like eloquent, diplomatic, but strong kind of vibe. That was like and I was just like, oh my God, this man should not be near any social media right now because he is just, those fat thumbs are just posting way too soon. Doesn't know how to copy paste properly. You know, Notes app is great. You want to maybe paste in there and do some edits and then copy paste in there into your actual social media. I'm just saying. Unforced errors by this administration. When you think about how Donald Trump would have been on his own show on The Apprentice and he would have been fired for basically every single unforced error he has made, it's very ironic and also telling about how not real reality TV is, how not not even close to being real, you know. And I've had some of my own experience with that. I was on a reality show for fashion and they had me fake a fight with my husband, like redo a fight with my husband, and then they added that in and it made it very intense and it wasn't real. So I understand that was when after president the presidency for the reality TV president came after I was on a reality TV show. So then I understood how unreal it was and how produced it was, and also how situations are created that don't need to be that stressful just to make him that way so that, that's not really how things would go down, or things that were really, really, really difficult that would be something that you would in the field would be like, wow, that's a really big deal, would not be made into a big deal that should be a big deal. So then likewise with Trump, with The Apprentice, it was like they made him into a great businessman, but he's totally not a great businessman. He's very good at, speaking off the cuff. He's good at that. That's something that you can see goes a really long way. But there was an email that just got released between Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein, where Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein were colluding, and they had like a hit list of people that they wanted to get out of the cabinet or the inner circle. Two of those names included Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. That's pretty crazy. So think about that. Just percolate on that. Yeah. All right. Tell me what you think. What do you think is going to go down? Do you think that it'll be like Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and it's going to be like, oh, you just don't get to have all your privilege, but you get to walk around free? Or do you think it's going to be more serious accountability for Mr. Trump? Tell me what you think. What do you want to see? Obviously, some of us want to see him in jail, but the reality is, if that's not going to happen, what would you like to see? Should he be? I mean, I think I could see him going on the run, honestly. I could see him getting on his plane and flying to Dubai and taking up residence in Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's dedicated palace that with servants, it's already staffed and everything for him over there. I don't even understand why Andrew's not going there now. Maybe he's afraid he can't ever go back to England. But I think that if I'm gonna theoretically, if I'm gonna think about how this guy would try to get out of this situation, where he would go, what his means are, could he pull the Putin Russia? No, I don't think he'd go there. I mean, maybe, but I really do think that Dubai, he likes gold, he likes palaces, he likes all that kind of like that level of deferential treatment, the kind of level of like the all blind faith, royal, like just bow down kind of vibes. That's his vibe. I could see him going there and trying to leave. Now, whether or not there'd be an extradition or anything like that, we'd have to see. But this presidency, I don't think it's going to be completed. I honestly think that something's going to go down before he's going to be able to finish. I think he'll end up somehow getting like a version of a sweetheart deal. I don't know what that would be. I could potentially see some kind of weird like category, kind of like Pope Benedict, like Pope Emeritus, like kind of like this, like, okay, presidents that whatever they figure out. And then he gets to have some kind of weird, like, country club prison, or maybe for the rest of his life, he's confined to the worst Trump hotel. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Subscribe on Substack. If you become a paid subscriber, I will be sending you an annual gift. And if you want to follow on TikTok, Are We the Only Ones Pod? Instagram, Are We the Only Ones Pod? My personal Instagram, Kathy with a K, Tran Wilson. And YouTube has been also doing pretty well. So Are We the Only Ones Pod on there? All right, guys. Tell me what you think. Give me some feedback. Let me know. And until next time, bye.